All right, Shalom.
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 First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rachab Kodash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. All right, this lesson is going to be going into answering the Lord when He calls. Okay, it's kind of like a segue to a lesson we did yesterday regarding, rising to the occasion. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and just kind of kick it off here in Revelation chapter 19.
When we get it?
Yeah, I read it. It don't matter.
I saw good. I'm for you. You got it, Kodash?
Yeah, okay, that's cool. This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 7. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready.
Right, so the time that we are in now is getting ready for that marriage. Okay, we're getting ready for that marriage of the Lamb. Okay, and the wife is who? Israel. Okay, we are going to be married back unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai when He comes back to deliver us from this place. Okay, and so we are being called into that marriage. We're being bade unto that marriage. All right, and so now it's time to answer that call, man. Okay, when you get a phone call, you either answer or decline. Okay, so the Lord's seeing who's going to answer that call. Right?
Get an invite to the wedding as well. Get the invitations. Only certain people, guests will come to the wedding.
Unlimited number.
Unlimited con.
Yep. I'll continue reading.
This
is verse 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of saints.
Right, man. Okay, that righteousness of saints, the fine linen, Israel. That's Israel getting prepared for the bridegroom.
That's right.
Okay, and we ought not to be as a foolish virgin who was unprepared when the bridegroom came. Okay, we ought to be as the wise virgins who keep their lamps trimmed. Okay, who keep that oil in their lamps and keep their lamps trimmed so that they can basically have that light during nighttime. All right, which is right now. We're walking in the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah.
All right, and now it's time for us to awake unto that glorious light. Okay,
Right.
and so we ought not to take this opportunity for granted.
Con.
That's it on that, brother. We can go.
Would you go to Ephesians?
We'll go to 2 Thessalonians 2. I can pull it if need be. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 13.
2 Thessalonians 2 and 13.
God.
But we are bound to give thanks always to the Most High Yahweh for you, brethren, beloved of the Lord, because the Most High have from the beginning chosen you to salvation through the sanctification of the Spirit and the belief of the truth.
Right, man. Now this is Paul giving thanks to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai for the men that do actually get this truth. Okay, because the Most High chose us from the beginning to get it.
Right.
Okay, He chose us he already knew that there were going to be men to answer His calling. All right, majority of them weren't. Okay, majority of our people were going to be stiff-necked. Okay, they're not going to hearken.
Man.
Okay, but the Lord did give us ears to hear. Okay, and those are the ones who the Lord's truly dealing with. You see? Go ahead.
Keep reading on that.
Shot.
Verse 14, whereunto He called you by our gospel to the obtaining of the glory of our Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach.
Right. Now the scriptures do say many are called, but few are chosen. Are you going to be of the one who answers that calling? That if you don't answer the calling of the Most High, if you don't step up to the plate, you dang sure not. You're not chosen. Man. You know what I'm saying? Because you declined the call.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord, trying to have a conversation with you don't even want to hear. Or how are you going to receive that instruction that He's going to give you? Right. That He would have given you if you would have answered the phone. But my people do not know. They do not consider. Right. But the elect, like the scriptures say, the elect have obtained that which Israel has seeked for.
Right. Okay,
because like I said, the Most High called us by the good news, the gospel. All right, which is the good news is Yahweh Shai. All right, that sacrifice that Yahweh Shai made to redeem the nation. Okay, is here. It's already happened, and now it's for those who are willing to basically make that sacrifice and appreciate the fact that the Most High set His Son up to do that.
Count the cost.
You know, exactly. You see, you read
15.
Yeah, combo, sure.
Verse 2 Thessalonians 2:15. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or by our epistle.
So that same spirit that Yahushua prayed for in John chapter 17 about those men that the Lord had gave him, okay, particularly the 12 disciples at that time, or at that point, I guess I should say the 11 disciples, to be able to preach the word unto the all of the elect,
Right.
okay, all of the elect who are being woken up in these times now, the year of prophecy 2018, to fulfill the word of the Most High, okay. And so standing fast is what we have to do. We have to rise up to the occasion, you know, because it's not the easiest road.
That's right.
You know, you have something, bro?
Yeah, I got a quick one.
Come on.
This is Revelation chapter 3, verse 20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me.
Come on.
You got it?
Come on, man. Hey, so Yahushua, before they had cell phones, what would you do? You know, you knock on the door. You know, you let somebody know that you're there, you know, because they didn't have a way to communicate outside of letters. They didn't have a way to communicate unless you was in person, you know. And so, that being said, Yahushua is coming, he's visiting, man, you know. He's visiting us, okay? When he visits us spiritually, he does sup with us and communes with us. And when you actually, if you had, you know, had family with your mother and father, or even if you just had, you know, a couple of family members that you was growing up with, when you are at the table and you're eating dinner, what do? You talk amongst each other, right? And so having a conversation with Yahushua, you know, will be spiritual, you see, and he wants to teach us spiritual things, you know, but we have to have those ears.
God. This is Acts chapter 10, verse 40. Him the Most High raised up on the third day and showed him openly, not to all people, but unto witnesses. That's that, you know, when you read it in what you read in Thessalonians, how Paul was going into the sanctification, how we're sanctified, the chosen Lord, when we those men. Those are people that he had called to the marriage. All right, he didn't call everybody. Again, it says not to all people. All right, so that's pertaining to us. Okay? But unto witnesses, chosen before the Most High. Chosen before of the Most High. So it says witnesses chosen before. All right, where does that chosen before stem from? From the foundations of the earth. Yep. All right, that calling is just being called out now. Where you read it in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 1. You know, I gave you that pure mind of remembrance. That way you know the things that have passed. Yep. All right, that's what's going on. Okay? Then I'm going to continue. It says, even to us who did eat and drink with him after he rose from the dead. And he commanded us to preach unto the people and to testify that is, which is he was ordained of the Most High to be the judge of the quick and the dead. All right, so who that's pertaining to us. And he gave us a job to do, to preach, to call out to, because we received the calling. All right, so through that word being in us, the same thing applies within what we got to do. All right, and those men that hear this calling will be joined in. All right, behold, I make you fishers of men. You got it right.
God. You know, beautiful scripture throughout, bro. I actually wanted to get that word called in 2 Thessalonians, real quick in the Greek, if possible.
Yeah, get it. Or if you're already, it's up to you, don't matter.
Yeah, I was looking up another pre.
Okay, I got
what
it.
verse you at?
Verse 14, where it says, whereunto he called.
I got it. All right, so that word there is kaleo. All right, and it says to call aloud, to utter in a loud voice, to invite.
God.
To Salakia.
Come, bro. So to call out in a loud voice, to invite. The scriptures say in Proverbs, wisdom crieth without; she uttereth her voice in the streets. How does wisdom cry out? By the voice of by the mouth of the Lord's prophets. That's right. Okay, and who gave us that wisdom? Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right, now we have the wisdom. We understand all things through the Spirit because of that sacrifice that Yahushua made. He opened up those seals so that we can get this understanding in the latter times. You know, and so. You can keep going on that, Shah, if there's any more on it.
It says to give a name to receive the name of. Receive as a name. when you read that, it says to receive a name of, which shows you we received the name, man. And it's that simple. He called on to us. You mean to tell me somebody calls on to you, but you ain't gonna know who's calling you?
That's right.
All right, yeah. Oh yeah, the voice sounds familiar. You gonna know that person by name.
Right.
All right, he gave that to us, man. That's part of the calling. Giving that name.
Yeah.
You got it, Bob.
Now who that? He had in the history he called. Who did he?
He called James and John.
Yeah,
You
right.
talking about
What it was? Man, I forget where it was at, man.
Okay.
But yeah, he good.
Come on.
Yeah, man. And the Most High, He's not gonna call you from caller ID block, man. From no caller ID.
Exactly.
Okay. You know, when he calls you, man, you know. All right, and that's why if you decline the call, you condemn. You're not excused anymore. All right, you know, which is that goes into that in Ezekiel chapter 3. You know, speak unto my people, and if they shall not hear thee, then you know that wicked man shall die in his sins.
Right.
But as long as you warn him, then the blood is off your hands.
That's right.
You know, so that's what we're doing. We're calling out unto our people, telling our people to get right. You're Israelites, all right, so on and so forth. Repent because the day of judgment is coming nigh. All right, so we can get the blood off our hands.
Right.
You see?
You got more?
No,
You got it. Huh?
I got one real quick. Jeremiah 1:5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Like you said, he called us from the womb. Well, we were those men that do it to the end. So he go back. He called us when we was in the womb of our mother. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
That's right.
man, because it's a spirit. It's a spirit that he puts in that what they call the fetus before it's even a fetus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a spirit. As soon as the sperm and the egg hits, that energy, that soul is put into that body, man.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, you remember the scenario with Elizabeth and Mary when they linked up, and Elizabeth pretty much was 6 months with John, and then Mary barely had Yahweh in her stomach, but this is right when they pretty much had got together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And right when they walked in the same room, what did it say? It said the spirit of John jumped. The baby jumped in the womb.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just as an example of what you was going into. You know what I'm saying? Yahweh was a little fetus, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was just conceived in the womb, and John already knew what it was.
Right.
You know, the spirit, our spirit bear with my spirit bear with your spirit that you are sons of God. You know.
Yeah, that was it on that.
So I count as fine if I get one.
You got it.
Okay.
I got some quite a few
Rolling
precepts
out.
and scriptures on here.
This is 2 Peter, chapter 1, verse 10. Wherefore the rather, brethren, give diligence to make your calling and election sure.
Ooh.
For if ye do these things, ye shall never fail. So, like the brother's going into, you got to make your calling and election sure. You picking up that call. For one, it's a blessing to be called. You know, so you getting a call. You know, it's like, oh snap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So make sure you're gonna take this call.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What the mediator is what? Yahweh Shah Mashiach.
Mm-hmm.
That's the operator.
That's right.
Hey, who you trying to get to? Hey, we trying to get in good graces with the Most High.
That's right.
Yahweh Shah Mashiach is the operator.
Mm-hmm.
A call, can I? You know what I'm saying? I know that's old school because
Yeah.
a lot of
I know what you're talking
coming back up. You know what I'm saying? But you still got those people who take the call.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hello, well, what's this pertaining to?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is our election. You know what I'm saying? Diligence. You know, make sure. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what you're talking about because the operator like, yeah, bro. Like, what you gonna do, bro? Like, I'm here. You know?
Right.
Yeah, and you know, if you try to call the Most High too late, you try to call him back. You know, after he's already called you, you ignore it. And you try to call him back, man. You try to seek him early, and when your destruction come upon you, man. Hey, you mess around and decline that call, man.
That's right.
You're gonna need the cord out the wall.
Yeah, you know, puts you on block, man, to where he's not putting his gracious spirit of mercy upon you, man.
That's right,
You know, but we hope that Yahweh Shem Shai keeps the spirit upon us to where we continue calling out to the Most High, because as we do that, we grow in the spirit and we get a more closer personal relationship with the Lord.
Right.
You know, because that's the only power that's gonna be able to deliver us out of this day that's coming, man.
That's right. That's right. You ain't gonna invite no random person to come eat with you, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, you sit down and eat eat with somebody, it's somebody that you know, that's somebody that you want to build more rapport with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've been given the opportunity, all right? We've been given the opportunity to link up with Yahweh Shai and sup with him, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And if I could land back off you, and like the brother just said, he just made a beautiful point. But if there is a case where we do invite somebody through the Spirit, it's gonna be what? It's gonna be those men that we're fishing for.
Right.
Exactly. Those who like, oh, this brother's in need.
Yeah.
This brother's in need. But like the brother said, random people, they just bro. You just looking for, you know what I'm saying, you just looking for a free meal.
Right.
We got brothers bearing fruit coming out, they hungry.
Right.
No, I want to see what y'all doing to obtain to get this food. You know?
God, I must needs bring this precinct.
God, slack you.
No, it's
burning
right
us
in.
now.
It goes right into what you just said. What we all saying, but namely, you just hit it. This is Matthew chapter 22. I'm gonna start from the top. It says, "And Yahweh Shai answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said, The kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king, which made a marriage for his son, and sent forth his servant to call them that were bidden." All right, and that word "bidden" means called to the wedding, and they would not come. All right, you got some of them that you call out to, and they ain't gonna come. All right, you got some, and the scary thing is, you know, at the end of the day, we're being called, but that don't mean, you know, you got some guys that listen to the call for a second, and then the Lord took his spirit away, and they fell out of something like that. You know, it can happen to any of us. Lord forbid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it just shows you the reality of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Okay?
All right, brother.
It said, again, he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen, and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come unto the marriage, all right? So he said, tell them. So who is he telling this? Okay? But they made light of it and went their ways, one to his farm and the other to his merchandise. So he's telling them to call unto these people, and they all started going their own way.
That's right.
You know? It says, And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. All right?
That's the story of the apostles, man.
Yeah.
You know, that's the story of all of the believers, of all the martyrs that called out and said, Unto you is the gospel preached.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That those doors of repentance were open unto our people who were willing to listen. But guess what our people did? Slew the prophets.
Exactly.
And crucify Yahweh Shai. Crucify him. They
Right.
went in.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. But when the king heard of it, but when the king heard thereof, he was wroth. And he sent forth his armies and destroyed the murderers and burnt up their cities. Okay? Then said he to the servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage. So those servants went out into the highways, and gathered together as many as they found, both bad and good. And the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came and to see the guest, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he said unto them, Friend, how comest thou in hither, not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to his servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into the outer darkness, and there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. All right, so when you go into that, man, we got to make sure that our minds are right, man. We got to make sure, because that garment ultimately goes into our mind. We have these outward garments, we understand that, but when you read it in Isaiah 52 and Isaiah chapter 61 verse 10, matter of fact, Baba Kashah, really quick, would you better pull it up really quick, and then you got it at Isaiah 61 to 10?
Okay, come on.
Baba Kashah, and then you got it right afterward out.
Come on. It's Isaiah chapter 61, verse 10. It says, I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my power, for he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation.
All right, the garments of salvation. So that's the garments that are made with white. And what happens during a marriage anyway? What color does the wife usually wear?
White.
She wears white.
Virgin.
The virgin, purity. Exactly. And then he went up there to that dinner. He said, bring good and bad. So the servants did their job and called out. And the king was pleased. And he came there and seen somebody not dressed up right. Didn't have that garment of salvation, man. Why was that? He didn't do what was righteous pertaining to the spirit. All right. He was bugging out. He was lax in the spirit. He wasn't trying to trim his lamps. All right. At the end of the day, that goes to the one that didn't trim their lamps. That sounds like a foolish virgin to me. You know? But we got to make sure that if we called, right? He didn't call everybody. So since we called, That means we have a job that we have to do, and that we have to do the best at it. All right, because we're made examples to feed the flock, to feed the sheep. You got it out.
God,
That's what he's telling you.
God, that's a
You
beautiful.
love me, feed my sheep, right?
God, yeah, that's a beautiful precept, brother. As a matter of fact, that I was reading one going into the garment too, real quick. Revelation chapter 3, verse 4. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 2. All right, this is Revelation 3 and 2. Be watchful and strengthen the things which remain that are ready to die. For I have not found thy works perfect before the Most High. Right, and ultimately, none of our works are going to just be A1 perfect to where we never go off. Okay, but we are supposed to be watchful. You know what I'm saying? We are supposed to try and attempt to grow in the spirit.
Right.
Verse 3, remember therefore how thou hast received and heard, because what? Received and heard the calling, received and heard the gospel. You see? It said received and heard and hold fast and repent. Okay? Hold it fast. How do we hold fast? We don't give up. We maintain diligence.
That's right.
Repent. We bring forth fruits meet for repentance by doing the work, by showing that we are actually sorrowful for the wicked transgressions that we made in our past lives, and that we still making the flesh just being here.
Right.
It says, if therefore thou shalt not watch, I will come on thee as a thief, and thou shalt not know what hour I will come upon thee. Just like how you read in Matthew 22. I mean, he didn't necessarily come to him like a thief, but he can't. The guy who didn't have the garments he wasn't expecting to get kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, that trouble and anguish came upon him out of nowhere.
That's
all right. But here's the point. It says, verse 4: Thou hast a few names, even in Sardis, which have not defiled their garments, and they shall walk with me in white, for they are worthy.
I got the word hold fast pulled up in the Greek, pursuant to that what you just read.
God.
And that word, the words hold fast is tereo. Okay? And it says to attend to carefully, to take care of, to guard, keep one in state in which he is, to observe, all right? And check this out, because we're going to a marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the white, which means virgins, right?
Mm-hmm.
To reserve.
See?
Okay?
Reservation.
That's right.
Reserve a seat.
Reserve a seat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's a repeat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also too, what does a virgin do, man? When she's betrothed, all right, she's reserved for that man that's promised unto her.
She's spoken.
All right, she's promised to one,
spoken.
so she's not gonna go around acting like a hoe. All right, she's gonna make sure she takes care of herself and holds fast to the marriage that's to come. Gets herself ready. All right, takes care of herself, attends to carefully. All right, when you go to the women in the kingdom of heaven, even though we using this as an analogy, they're gonna bathe in oil for a long time, man.
6-7 months.
All right.
Too, right?
Yeah.
So are we not doing the same thing when it comes to this word? You know what I'm saying? Making sure we anointed with that oil, making sure that we clean, man. Making sure that we're reserved. You know? Y'all got it.
We're purging out that old leaven that
That's
we had while we was in the world.
That's right.
Yeah. No, you get to all right, Galatians 1:15. But when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace. So he even said he called us out of our mother's womb by the grace. He said, I'm reading again, Galatians 1:15. But when it pleased the Most High, who separated me from my mother's womb and called me by his grace.
Yeah, because we're separated from those who are gonna be destroyed, man.
The world in 2/3.
Because what does sanctify and holy mean? To separate yourself, sanctify yourself.
Right. To reveal his son in me, that I might preach him among the heathen. Immediately I conferred not with flesh and blood.
Bro, what did Paul do immediately after Yahushua called him? See, Yahushua didn't call him before, he stoned Stephen and this and that. Yahushua made himself known.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
he made himself known, and ever since that, he was on the way to persecute saints. And ever since Yahushua revealed himself to Paul, man, he said, "What do I need to do, Lord?" Immediately he got order.
Right.
That's the spirit that we should have.
Exactly. Exactly, man.
That was it on that.
I got a quick real quick. This Ecclesiastes chapter 9, I'm gonna start at 7. Go thy way, eat thy bread with joy, and drink the wine with a merry heart, for the Most High now accepteth thy works. All right. Now, how is he going to accept our works? All right. Verse 8. Let thy garments be always white, and let thy head lack no ointment. Okay. And that's the state of mind that we have to be in when we call to do this work. Called to do this ministry, man. We want to make sure that we clean, right? Reserved. That virgin, guess what? Those garments are going to be white. Going into that mindset that we're going to have means to be clean. All right. And it says, let's make sure thy head lack no ointment. What does that go into, man? Trim your lamps. When you trim your lamps, you make sure it's full of ointment so it'll burn. Okay? So that lamp symbolically represents your mind. Okay? Trimming that lamp, making sure your head lacks no ointment, making sure that you have the understanding, making sure you're doing what you have to do, doing what was commanded for you to do in order to be that good wife to the husband that's coming, man. All right? Again, we was going into the betrothal process. All right, best believe that wife was getting herself taken care of for that marriage that was to come, man.
Getting prepared like a mug, right?
Best believe she wasn't fucking around.
Right.
You know, she wasn't messing around, and best believe she made sure that she was made clean with them ointments. All right? It's the same way we got to come in, the same spirit we have to come in. All right? We have to make sure that we clean, man. The Lord ain't looking for no filthy hoe.
Yeah, he don't want no blemished lamb, right?
Right.
He already had enough of that. That's why he put us away.
Exactly.
Exactly. That's
Exactly.
Book of Hosea.
Like a man who married, if a woman cheat on her husband, he gonna put her ass away. He ain't finna stay go divorce her.
That's
I'm
right.
done with you, man.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
So he gave us the law, statutes, and commandments, and we broke the vows. You know what I'm saying?
He had
He
mercy
was
on
on
us.
us. He still, I mean, that's heavy. He still got enough. He still got power to be like, you know what, man? I cast these people away, but you know what? I'm gonna call a remnant back.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for?
Right.
And through the remnant, that's how the whole nation of Israel is going to be saved. So for the Jakes is just say, I just want our people to be good. I want our people to be on top. Not have to worry about nothing. If you really care for our people, man, you do the work, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
JB talking, but you gotta be a doer of the work, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was it on my part.
I just had two more precepts.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
You know
Right
what I'm
on.
saying?
Which ones you got? I was going
Yeah,
for you.
First Thessalonians 2:10.
Okay.
You know.
Absolutely. That's a hitter.
I got it if you want to go ahead and get it. I'm going. 1 Thessalonians 2:10. Ye are witnesses, and the Most High also, how holy and justly and unblameable we behave ourselves among you that believe. Let me read it again.
Okay.
1 Thessalonians 2:10. Ye are witnesses, and the Most High also, how holy and justly and unblameable we behave ourselves among you that believe.
Right now, those who are preaching the word have they have the responsibility of being in order, okay, and being godly amongst those who look up to them. For example, us, if we have watchers and people who learn from us, we have to carry ourselves in a specific manner in order for, basically, obviously to establish order. But I mean, that's just how we should be living in general. Yahushua never did anything outlandish in front of the disciples. He maintained that same spirit.
Right.
God.
Okay, read.
God,
Verse 11. As ye know how he exhorted and comforted and charged every one of you as a father doth his children.
Right, because when we speaking like when Yahushua he preached, when he was preaching, they said that he was speaking with such authority, like he was so sure in what he was speaking, and that's why a lot of times when people kind of see us on the highways and byways for the first time, they're like, these guys, how do they know? How do you know? And they get mad because we're speaking with the same authority that Yahushua is speaking.
That's right.
Because we're coming in that same spirit, speaking his words.
God.
Okay, I remember they say in John, I think somewhere, it said because you have an unction.
That's the spirit.
Yeah.
No,
You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
You have the unction from the Holy One to go out here and do this.
That's right.
We got the confidence that we wasn't given a spirit of fear.
Okay.
So the word, the words don't need to go out.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
what you want me to do? Sit on it? No. We know what happens according to the scriptures.
God.
We know what happens when you sit on your gift.
God. That's right.
Said
You're not being the wise. You being the foolish version and not the wise.
Right. It
That's
says,
right.
Don't put the light on don't have the light on the bushel. You got to check the light out on the table.
That's right.
So the world, because the elect got to wake up. They got to see it.
That's right.
You can't get this truth and hide up under the in the bushel in the world. No, how Jacob wake up if they don't see other men walking in faith? Like,
Right.
damn.
Right.
And call it back to the marriage, man.
Exactly. That's how you know on an aspect of understanding it carnally, man. What does Jake like to do when they got something? I'm shining, homeboy. I'm shining.
Exactly.
The Floyd Mayweather, does he not let you know he's shining?
Right. Right.
Did Michael Jordan not look back at you and wink when he let you know he was shining? When Jake gets some money, do they not got the wives and money let you know they shining, or are they doing well for themselves?
Right.
Through the Spirit of how why y'all shine, given that unction, we shining because you're looked at in a different way.
Right.
God.
Something different about y'all. Why don't you eat this?
God.
Why don't you? Why don't you go to church? Why you believe this is that? Because brothers got that confidence through the Spirit of Yahweh y'all shine.
That's
It's a
right.
different life. You know?
God. And if I may,
Oh, you-
what better example would there be to use than to be poor, low down, meek, humble looking individuals? You know, let's say all of us walked around looking like TD Jakes or whoever. Mink coat. You got the poor and the low that are out there that'll look and be like, man, I know I ain't on that level, man. I'm just this and that. I don't deserve this. But the Lord called meek, lowly, humble guys so these people can relate to a degree. Like, man, he's a friend of what? Publicans and sinners.
Yeah.
And they was talking mess about
They
that.
hated him for that.
They hated him for that.
Oh,
But those publicans and sinners were low down, dirty people at a point in time, man. The same thing as us. So we looked at it as, dang, okay, well, shit, they look just like us, man. Screw it. I want to hear it, man. You know, the brother brought up the example about people that didn't have the degrees, didn't have all that. The Lord ain't looking for that, man. They said the same thing about Yahushua. So it shows you the energy and the look that he came and presented himself with.
Yep.
You know, he said, what about this guy? He don't even got no letters. You know? So that same thing applies to us because they said the same thing to the apostles in Acts. All right? Shows you that they might have looked dumb or looked poor or whatever the case is. That's what the Lord is looking for, man. It's obvious when he had y'all decked out in silver and gold and diamonds and jewels, you went around slutting around, so you're going to have to be lowly now, man. Y'all got it.
God. A beautiful, beautiful point, brother. You know, like Yahushua said, you know, what went ye out for to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? You know, those would be clothed in gay clothing, dwell in king's houses, right? But what went ye out for to see? A prophet,
Exactly.
you know, and yea, more than a prophet, you know. And it was John the Baptist, man. He was clothed with humble clothing. He had that camel skin, IUIC.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So like it thought just popped in my head, man. But you can't get around the fact that the Lord's prophets were lowly, man.
Right.
You know, that's the point.
Just laying back in. Beautiful point, brother. Look at the ancient prophets before Yahushua, man. Isaiah walked around butt naked, bro. All right. Jeremiah was a little child. Ezekiel had breath that smelled like doo-doo. Okay. These people were examples of what we're talking about, man. And we're going to come in that same stand. Now, of course, you know, we ain't going to be walking around, walk around naked and everything like that, but it shows you they was through.
Yeah.
They looked through, man. They didn't have the golden apparel and like the brother said, the soft remnant. All right, man. We through right now, man. We gonna get all that stuff back in the kingdom. Right now, our main job is this word that's to be pushing. It's not about no image. Because guess what? If you got people that look lowly and look like this and call out, the real honest, sincere is really gonna be down to hear it, man. And they gonna look past the outer appearance, and they gonna really see the inward appearance and see that okay, there's something different about these guys, like this brother stated. You know, y'all got it.
I know you got.
I got one more real quick.
No,
you
got it.
Yeah,
This is Matthew 23. I'm gonna start at 27 and 28. Woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye are like unto white sepulchres, which indeed appear beautiful outward, but are within full of dead men's bones and of all uncleanness. Even so, ye also outwardly appear righteous unto men, but within ye are full of hypocrisy and iniquity.
Come.
Go to the gate. Go ahead. You got it.
No, I didn't want to, bro. You got it.
No, you good. No, go because on the outside, on the outer appearance, like you said, with the clothes, if you come in with a Bentley and looking all good, the outward appearance is great. But inside you wicked as hell, man. So the poor people ain't gonna like you said, they can't match up to that, man. And the Apocrypha speak about a man that what acts laugh and his attire tell what he is. You know what I'm saying? So you come looking like $1 million. TD Jakes out there with a suit teaching, all the doubts gonna come around him. And, you know what I'm saying? Now we out here in these clothes, got holes in my garment, socks got holes in it. You get about 5 people listen to us. So that proved that the people out there who look apart, we just full of iniquity and dead man bones, man.
I got. I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I got a quick one, real quick, just going into what you're saying, man. This is Isaiah 65:3, because you said their mouths are as wide as sepulchres, right?
Right.
A people that provoke me to anger continually to my face, that sacrificeth in gardens, and burneth incense upon altars and bricks, which remain among the graves. All right, those sepulchres, what is that? A grave site.
Yeah.
All right, and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh, broth, and abominable things in their vessels. Those fat ass, TD snake ass niggas.
God.
All right, verse 5, it says, which say, stand by thyself, come not near to me, for I am holier than thou.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
These are a smoke in my nose, a fire that burneth all day. And that's what those wicked scribes and those Pharisees was doing, man. When they was dressed up with, when they had their phylactery, when they brought in their phylacteries, all right, with that outward apparel, best believe the poor would approach them and, man, get away from me, man. You dirty, you clean. I mean, you dirty, I'm clean.
Yeah, they ain't even want to talk to them.
And the poor would have that mindset like, dang, well, shit, I ain't shit, man.
Yeah.
I can't be like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I can't be nothing like that. Meantime, this inward individual that talked all this shit is dirtier than that poor person, man. You know?
That's why you got a lot of Jake waking up in those hoods who's starting to like out them pastors, man. Like why the hell y'all here in the hood?
Right.
You got Jake chasing pastors out their hood, man. They got videos on that on YouTube, man. You know, and now pastors want to get quote unquote in touch with reality and try to wear their quote unquote street clothing and comfortable clothing and go to the hood, youth outreach center. Nah, man, it's too late for that, man.
Yeah,
right. You know,
Gone.
Mashiach on his way back. It's too late for that, man.
Hey, I got one for you. Going off right what you just said, Salaki. In the same chapter, Matthew 23, but I'm going to start up at 5. But talking about the wicked scribes and Pharisees, and to the popes and all this today. Matthew 23 and 5. But all their works they do for to be seen of men. They make broad their phylacteries.
That's right. That's right.
You know, and they make broad their phylacteries and enlarge the borders of their garments.
Right. Right. And when you go into the broadening of the phylacteries, what they did, like the elder said, you know, they brought their garments. But when you go to their phylacteries, man, they were literally writing the law, statutes, commandments on them. They was wearing it outwardly.
Right.
You know, they was putting it over their head. They would wrap it around their arms.
I seen
you know, Trump. Oh, you got it.
I actually seen a gutter wrap.
Yeah.
With phylacteries on.
Yeah.
I seen
Yes,
one with their
I've seen
front
it.
on.
Yeah.
When they're traveling. I'm like,
He had the front one on, and like the brother said, when they was wrapping around, represented the law.
Yeah, nah, you good. But they was trying to fulfill Jeremiah 31 to 31. Oh, the law, statutes, commandments going to be on me. Yeah, that outward look clean and
I
whole.
want to be seen like
Man.
tell you everything.
That's that the meat coats.
Man.
All that stuff, man.
Used to
That
be
giant
seen.
mega
Yeah.
church.
The gators.
Yeah.
Hey, and then it says, in love the uppermost rooms at the feast, and the chief seats in the synagogues.
Jake always want to be on the penthouse at the top. At the
Right.
top, you know, the top level, man. You know, but really, you are the scummiest, dirtiest man on the entire building.
That's right.
The Lord does not like hypocrites. No.
Hypocrites,
Straight
vipers,
up.
snakes. Yeah, that was it.
The spirit kind of changed to that for a quick second, because
Yeah.
you know, because you do have men that claim to be, you know, answering the Most High's cause and claim to be communicating, you know, and in the eyes of men, you know, seem to be on point, but really, you know, you gotta have your heart right with the Most High, man, which is why it's so important to have that personal relationship we have by Shem Shai.
That's right.
So it ties back into this precept.
This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. For this cause, I, Paul, the prisoner of Yahushua Mashiach for you Gentiles, if ye have heard of the dispensation of the grace of the Most High, which is given me to youward, how that by revelation he made known unto... I'm sorry, that's verse 3, Salaki.
But it's still going to,
Yeah, it was going in, but let's go to the point.
Yeah.
This is Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1. Again, Salakia. It says, I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that ye walk worthy of the vocation wherein ye are called.
Right. So beseech means basically like to beg, plead. You know, the prisoner. That's the spirit, because it said the prisoner of the Lord twice in the beginning of each chapter. You know, being a prisoner of the Lord is somebody who is an unprofitable servant, somebody who has no choice but to serve.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? That's the thing. Like, people think that they have a choice to ignore the call and think that they're gonna be good. No, you ignore that call, man. That's your ass. Which is why, like I said, we serve the Lord with fear and trembling. Okay, and we beg our people, we plead for our people to walk worthy of the vocation. Okay, and then that's why I want to get that word vocation, and then it's gonna tie it all together.
Okay. Kind, I got you, right?
Kind.
All right, when you go into that word, Ephesians chapter 4, verse 1, vocation, that word in the Greek is, that word is klesis.
Right, which is basically the same root word as what we brought out in 2 Thessalonians, chapter 2, where it said being called out. Okay.
A calling, call to, a call, invitation.
An invitation to what? Going back to the marriage supper of the Lamb.
To a feast.
Right, to a feast. You see, an invitation to a feast. So we ought to walk worthy of that invitation that Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai has invited us to.
Right. Gave us access to it.
Kinda.
Of the divine invitation to embrace salvation of the Most High.
A divine invitation to embrace salvation, man.
Right.
The Most High trying to hook us up, bro. And Jake just declining, you gotta go.
And that word klesis, which is vocation, goes right to that word. And that word key is almost the same thing. That word key in the Greek is klis. All right, and you know what I'm saying, it goes into having access to something that's been given to us, that access. You know what I'm saying? We have received that key for access, man. The door's been open for us to get through. All right, like we read about in Revelation, the 3rd chapter. You know what I'm saying? We have access to it through faith. All right, and we believe this calling is because we have faith that we've been called.
That's right.
All right, we received this word through faith. And these other people that's been called and ain't did nothing, they don't have faith.
Right.
All right, there's other people that's being called. All right, wisdom crieth out, like the brother said. She uttered her voice on the street. Best believe people are hearing it, man, but the faithful are going to hearken on to that call and walk accordingly. All right, because it's a high possibility that those men were the men that were chosen from the foundation of the earth.
That's right.
All right, y'all got it.
And that same word, klesis, is basically the same root word, man, as the word Greek word for church, which is ecclesia.
Right.
Calling from the Most High.
That's right.
Which is exactly what that is, man. And that's why they say, "Do you have a church?" They don't know what they're saying. That's what we've been doing all night. We've been calling out to you.
Exactly.
That's why you standing right here.
You're rolling your eyes at us.
Right. So with that being said, we ought to walk worthy. Walking worthy is actually continuing in the diligence of pushing the word until the end, man. Because the scriptures say, "He that keepeth my works to the end, to him will I give power over the nations."
Right.
See, that's what we hope for. That's what we pushing for.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, so hey, man, Abarat Tazah, is an edifying lesson. With that, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Ruach HaKodesh.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom.
Shalom.